recently there were quite a few details regarding the next major Team Fortress 2 update, given by professional Team Fortress 2 player Banny. He was recently invited to the Valve headquarters and had many discussions with the Team Fortress team. He later gave out the details through tweets and a nearly 5-hour live stream. Now, I've gone through it all and compiled every bit of info that has been given out, and although this info is somewhat vague due to Banny not wanting to betray any trust with Valve, we will be speculating and making some guesses based on some of the info and past events and just the general environment Team Fortress 2 is currently in. First and foremost, it was stressed that the driving force of this next update is competitive's full release. The Team Fortress team is focused on transitioning Team Fortress 2 to a serious competitive game, as it deserves. Once released, Valve will be keeping a close eye on the game mode, taking data points and figuring where the competitive game can lead. If enough interest is seen and enough people are playing, Valve will be willing to take the next logical step. And while not completely stated anywhere, it is safe to assume that this next logical step is something close to official Team Fortress 2 competitive support and something like a Team Fortress 2 major. Simply put, the more active people playing competitive, the more likely Team Fortress 2 will have an official competition. Banny made sure to state that this will not happen overnight, and we will not wake up and find Valve making it rain within the Team Fortress 2 community. Along with the release of competitive, Mr. Vincent stressed that this update will include many different parts, competitive only being one. For example, large rebalances. The aim is to breathe new life into the game by adding things never seen before and changing the way you play. Some ways of doing this are large weapon changes, aiming not to have bans on any weapons within the official Team Fortress 2 competitive game mode, and instead balancing them so that the bans would not even be necessary. This is along with a clear path that Valve has thought of and will be taking to deal with hackers. And the new system was shown to Banny, and he thinks it may be something we will like, as it does not treat everyone like a hacker. Valve will also have a focus on changing classes and playstyles, and they are well aware of the ideas of subclasses. Now, speculation, it is possible we could see the introduction of new mechanics that could create new subclasses, adding to the idea of changing the way you play. With all these new supposed features and changes, Banny envisions a Team Fortress 2 community that views a before competitive and competitive eras of Team Fortress 2. Meaning, once this competitive update is out, if received the way Valve would like it to be received, there could be a new renaissance within the game. Of course, this is all dependent on if the community reacts to the game well, and there is a large enough active player base, which I do see if the update is done correctly. In my opinion, for the competitive game mode to garner an active player base the size of other competitive games, or at least a respectable player base, there would have to be things going on more so than what is going on now. Meaning, there would need to be some more progression systems put in place and possible rewards for people dedicated to the competitive game mode scene. Otherwise, you are just dependent on people playing the game because they like playing competitive. Now, I know this sounds weird, but if Valve were to incentivize the play of competitive over time, the game will grow in dedicated players, just based off the time players put into it to get the rewards. The awards don't have to always be available, but if given to players just starting out, you will be able to incentivize and then grab and hook players for long-term play. Now, as mentioned before, competitive will only be part of this major update, and although competitive and its surrounding changes are a large part, there is still more to expect. For example, because Gunmetal and Tough Break were profitable and were quite popular within the community, it is safe to assume that we will have another campaign, complete with contracts, cases, skins, and a buy-in. I still hold the idea that these contracts may have a competitive focus, and this could add into the progression system. However, exactly how that could be done is unknown. It was stressed in a tweet from Banny that the casual and community aspects of TF2 are also heavily emphasized in the next update. So for those of you who are not interested in competitive, fear not. There are still quite a few new features coming your way. For example, optimizing the game and increasing performance across the board is something Valve is, and this is a quote, actively looking into. However, I would not be surprised if the optimization and performance changes weren't in this update. Now, all of these features are really seeming to hit us quickly, as only a year ago it seemed Team Fortress 2 was turning into a game of contracts and skins alone. But with competitive and all the changes surrounding it, it seems the TF team are really trying to step up their game and renew players' interests in Team Fortress 2. And this is no accident. Everyone is aware of the elephant on the hard drive. Overwatch does exist, and while I'm not going to reiterate myself, it is known that some professional Team Fortress 2 players have made the move to Overwatch. Not necessarily because they like the game, but because there's money in that game. So Valve is obviously aware, and even though they have no problem with Overwatch existing, it does mean they are going to compete. And that's great. Whether you like Overwatch or not, you're still going to win. And as long as TF2 has competition, we will see larger, more involved updates with the TF team closely listening to the community. Now, this is all very exciting, but when does it come out? No solid date was given, and even Banny himself wasn't given a concrete date while at Valve. However, it is easy to guess when it will be. I would guess late June to early July, as not only would that match past summer updates, but not only would that not be too close to be overshadowed by Overwatch's release, but close enough to draw back the many players moving over to Overwatch just for something different. Of course, Valve time could set in and we could get it in like December, but I do expect this update to be out by the end of summer. Just think about it. People are moving over to Overwatch. The casual player is moving over to Overwatch just so they can have something different. They can buy Overwatch and play it for about a month, but the majority of video game players get bored of pretty much anything, and unless Blizzard is planning on putting out a few smaller updates of content during the first month, players will lose interest. So Valve swooping in right when the player base starts to lose slight amount of interest with the largest update we've seen in a long time could solidify Team Fortress 2 as a game that will stick around for quite a few more years. Now, it really all depends on the quality of the update, and it really all depends on the timing of the release, but I can see whatever is being planned by Valve as being one of the most important Team Fortress 2 updates we have ever seen. It just all depends on the community's response and ability to play over a long period of time. I am very excited, however, a bit skeptical, as I am not entirely sure how the community will exactly respond. It will obviously be somewhat positive, however, this positivity could be directed at just another cosmetic instead of this game mode. But anyways, that was all the information I have on the next major Team Fortress 2 update, which again, I believe is coming out in the summer. It was also some of my opinions on the environment Team Fortress 2 is currently in. So if you like this video, hit the like button. If you dislike this video, hit the dislike button. If you want to support these videos, if you want to be able to support these videos and give me some kind of budget to be able to spend on, you know, equipment or different games or different things that I can do to make larger projects, or maybe even to supplant the smaller made videos over a shorter period of time with the longer form 20-minute documentary style videos, then feel free. You can always support the channel in many different ways. The one I'm going to talk about right now is the Patreon. Link to that is down in the description below. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. I'm Tyler McVicker. This is Valve News Network. Have a good day. Adios.